550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making hot honey barbecue chicken and waffles. Okay, let's hop right in because this is not a long recipe, but it is a delicious one. So I got my chicken wingettes because that's what I had in my house, and I'm going to be going and making Belgian waffles with this. So over here in the corner I got my ingredients, everything that I'm going to be using on my chicken, and I'll show you guys the rest a little later on when we get into it. So what I'm going to be putting on my chicken is the basic onion powder, garlic powder. I got some accent, and I'm also going to be using a little bit of Mrs. Dash chicken and some Italian seasoning just because I love how it tastes on everything. Okay, and then I got this hot pepper bacon barbecue sauce from HEB. Well, I got it from Central Market. If you live in Texas or in the South, I don't know if HEB is in the North because I live in Texas, but this stuff is really good. I got it from there and you should check it out. You don't have to have honey barbecue anything. You could just make your chicken regular, but I decided to add some pizzazz to it. Okay, so I'm going to season up my chicken with everything I got here on my counter. I'm going to do a light seasoning on my chicken. Well, not too light because I still want it to have that nice flavor to it, but it's going to be a light seasoning on my chicken because I'm going to also go ahead and season the flour before I fry my chicken. But we'll hop into that later and I'll show you guys later. And I'm going to season my flour with the same thing that I'm going to season my chicken with because obviously I want it to taste the same. I don't want my chicken to taste different than my flour. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and season up the chicken. And while I'm seasoning up the chicken, I got the grease heating up. Now I got the grease heating up on low. If you don't usually fry stuff, you definitely want to have your grease heating up on low because you don't want to burn the grease. I don't know about anybody else, but when the grease starts to get too hot and it starts to smoke, it gets into my eyes, and Lord, it just burns my eyes so bad. So I like to heat my grease up on low as anybody should. So I'm going to go ahead and mix my chicken up a little bit right now. And then I'm going to sit that chicken to the side. And then I'm going to go ahead and hop into getting my flour and my waffle mix ready. And that's the chicken right there. As you can see, I got all the seasonings on there looking real pretty. It also is going to taste super delicious. So I'm going to set that to the side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hop into my waffle mix. Now, if anybody who's ever made waffles, you know waffle mix is super easy. I've got my waffle mix, my vanilla, my oil. I like to use almond oil because I feel like it gives it a sweeter taste. And then I'm going to be using water for this instead of milk. And the reason why I'm using water instead of milk is because I did not take my milk out the fridge for this recipe before I did it. And I like to have my milk kind of room temperature. So I'm eyeballing this waffle mix, y'all, because I don't think anybody really just measures waffle mix. You kind of know how much you want to make, and I'm here home alone and I'm trying something different, and that's why I'm doing this recipe. I just did a little bit of a fourth of the bowl of the amount of the bowl. Okay. And I'm using 1 egg. I'm only using 1 egg because like I said, it's only one of me, so I don't need too much. I'm eyeballing stuff here, y'all. Okay, I've been cooking for a while, so I'm eyeballing all of this stuff. But if I had to give you a measurement on the oil, I would say 1/3 of a cup of oil is just enough. You don't need too much. And then I'm using a capful of French vanilla. I love French vanilla because it has such a much sweeter aroma than imitation vanilla. It's very, very potent. It just makes the smell pops right out of the bottle. It just smells so good, and it gives your waffles this beautiful brownish color. And you're gonna see that once I've mixed it in there and once I've actually cooked the waffle. Man, when I tell you, when I first started using French vanilla, I was hooked. I was addicted. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going back to regular vanilla. Where has this vanilla been hiding all my life? But I put my French vanilla in. after after I've stirred it up, because I want that super rich sweet taste. I don't want it to get lost in the rest of the ingredients. So I always put my French vanilla in after I've done all my mixing and my measuring, cuz sometimes with waffles, the dough is the dough. The mix can be a little bit thick. So, you want to start a little bit, you can always add more, but you can't take away. So I like to add my vanilla in after I've done all my mixing and measuring and all of that. Look at that. You see how nice and how I gave it a pretty, kind of like orangish, yellowish color. That's what I'm talking about. So pretty. I just love that look. Okay, I'm not gonna film myself making the waffle, guys, because let's get real. Who don't know how to make a waffle? But okay, so let's hop into how I'm gonna mix my flour. Okay. Now I wanna let y'all know I put about a cup and a half of flour, and like I said, I'm seasoning my flour with the very same things that I seasoned my chicken with. And if I had to give a measurement on how much seasoning, I would say a teaspoon of each of these seasonings went inside that flour. I don't want to season it too much because I've already got seasoning on my chicken, and you don't want it to be too salty. And then you also have to think about, you're going to be putting the sauce on this, and the sauce is going to have salted butter in it. Okay, so you don't want your chicken or your seasoning for your chicken and your flour to be too salty. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that together, give it a light mix, and set that to the side. Now, what you see over there with the yellow cap is my buttermilk, guys, okay? So what I like to do is, which may be unconventional, but it's for me, it works. And I think that you should try it. I like to mix my egg and my buttermilk. I know some people may do the egg when they fry it, or they may do the buttermilk, but I like to mix them together because it makes whatever you're frying soft on the inside but crunchy on the outside, if that makes sense. And once I fry this chicken, you're going to see that nice, beautiful brown crunchiness from the mixture of the buttermilk and the egg. Once you've done that, just go ahead and dump your buttermilk over your chicken and let that sit for a little bit. Let that buttermilk kind of get soaked up in the chicken. So I've got my chicken in my bowl and my flour, and I went ahead and shook it up, guys. I did that off camera because it kind of makes a bit of a mess. So, and my grease is already nice and hot. So go ahead and pop that chicken in the grease. Make sure your grease is ready to fry. And if this is an old school trick, if you don't know if your grease is ready to fry yet, wet your hand just a little bit, sprinkle some water in that grease, and if it gets to popping, baby, you in business. You ready. So I'm going to go ahead and fry my chicken. Now I want y'all to see how beautiful this chicken comes out. Because when I tell you this is the bee's knees, and I don't even say the bee's knees, but this was the bee's knees. Okay? This chicken, it took about, I want to say it took about 5 to 6 minutes to fry because my grease was already ready. I had it heating up for about 30 to 45 minutes while I was prepping. Okay, so you see how nice and pretty the color is. It's really, ooh, look at that. Oh my goodness. It's crunchy, y'all. I wish y'all could reach out and feel that chicken. It is crunchy. Yes. And on the inside was nice and tender and juicy. Now that's how you fry chicken right there. Now I'm not gonna lie, but when I first used to fry chicken, I was not a fan of buttermilk because I'm really a self-taught cook. I was not a fan of buttermilk, but when I tell you, buttermilk turned my life around. I use it when I fry stuff. Even when I fry my fish, I use buttermilk because it makes it nice and soft and tender. Look at that. Wow. That reminds me of that picture that used to go around Facebook with the puppies that look like fried chicken. That's what that looks like. Oh, my God. I made this, and I still can't believe how beautiful this chicken. Look at that. Oh, Lord, yes. Crunchy, baby. There you go. Try that egg and buttermilk mixture. You're going to love it. All right, so get into the sauce. That was a half a stick of salted butter. I've got my cast iron skillet on a little bit towards low, towards medium heat. I got a gas stove. So if you don't have a gas stove, maybe, you got the stove with the numbers. Put your stove on maybe 5 or 6. And that should give you this little, the right heat temperature that I've got here on my gas stove. Okay. So I'm going to have that butter heating up in the skillet. And to my butter, I'm just going to add a little bit of honey. And when I say a little, I do mean a little bit of honey. I did about 2 squeezes of honey right there, you see? There we go. Just a little bit of honey, not too much, because you don't want the honey, you don't want it to burn, and you don't want the honey taste to take over, because honey is a very strong taste. If you don't like honey and you don't eat honey, honey has a very strong taste. Don't put too much. So to that, I'm going to add my sauce that I got from Central Market, H-E-B Central Market. And I'm just going to put about as much of this as I think I need. Now, I think I fried about 5 or 6 pieces of chicken. Like I said, it's just myself, so I'm not going to put too much, okay? Because I want to save a little bit, because I like to dip mine in something sometimes. So I'm not going to put too much sauce. But what you're going to do is you want to add that sauce to that butter and just stir it up a little. Give it a good mix. Mix it up together so that the flavors merge. You don't want the butter to be sitting on top. You don't want the sauce to be sitting on the bottom. Give it a good mix. Let it merge a little bit. So see here. Okay. See, I added a little bit more because I guess I felt like it wasn't enough. But yeah, I be thinking when I'm cooking. Then when I'm doing the video, because I don't always talk when I'm doing the video, because I like to relax and drink my wine and listen to my music. So I do voiceovers sometimes. And sometimes I be thinking when I'm doing my voiceovers. But, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's definitely the perfect amount. Okay. Now, to this sauce, I let it get a little warm. And then I let it get a little warm. Then I added my chicken to it. Now, to this chicken, okay, so a little bit of my coating of my chicken came off, which is fine because, see, the thing is, this is a sauce. So it's going to make your chicken just a little bit wet. And, when chicken gets wet, the coating comes off a little bit. But I let the skillet heat up and I let the sauce get a little sticky before I put my chicken in there. So let your sauce get a little sticky so that, when you put the chicken in there, it sticks to the chicken really good. Oh, wow. That looks so pretty. Look at that color. I just love barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce is just the prettiest color of like brownish red. So you want to move that around in your sauce just a couple minutes. You're really just putting this in there to coat it, okay? Don't leave it on there too long because you ain't trying to cook it now. You just want to coat it. Okay, and you're going to finish your chicken off and let it sit to the side. Now, here with my waffle, I made my waffle mix a little bit thick. I don't know anybody who don't like a thick waffle, but it definitely came out a pretty brown. Look at that. Wow, a pretty brown color. And here's the finishing result. So you see the glaze on the chicken. And I don't know if you guys can kind of see the butter on that waffle. I put a lot of butter on that waffle, honey. I buttered that mug up. But yes, this is the recipe, guys. And hopefully you guys like it. It was delicious. And come back soon because, baby, I got more for you. Honey barbecue, hot chicken, and waffles. Boom.